In today's video, we are going to be cooking the Chile Relleno-You-Didn't burger from Season 3, Episode 17 of Bob's Burgers titled Two for Tina.
Bob's Burgers, hello! We can do it? Yay! Oh, how exciting! No teens are gonna get pregnant on our watch. I'll see you Saturday.
What was all that?
Get ready to shake it, Bobby. We're gonna chaperone Tina's dance.
Narc!
As the intro suggests, we're going to be making a roasted pepper burger today. And it's going to be kind of simple, but I think it might actually challenge us more than any burger so far. Today's video is going to be very exciting. I can't wait to see how it turns out. Let's get into it. The ingredients are simple. Just like the reptilian part of my brain, we have Poblano peppers followed by some good quality ground beef procured from my local supermarket. The filling will consist of some cheese. I decided to go with sharp white cheddar, but the recipe calls for Monterey Jack. I just couldn't find any and I was in a hurry. Finally, some Boston lettuce to go under everything else and absorb the juices from the burger and the pepper. And of course, some buns. The reason this burger is going to be a little bit more difficult than usual, I think, is we're going to have to roast these peppers, fill them with cheese, make some sort of frying batter, and then fry them in some oil, place them on top of our burger. It doesn't sound that difficult, but I believe it's going to take a little bit more skill than we're usually used to, which is great because we want these recipes to challenge us a little bit and test our abilities as home cooks. So let's get started. What's going on? What is he doing? That's right, I'm going to roast my peppers directly on an open stovetop burner. I actually saw this method from someone on the internet, so if you feel like destroying me in the comments, just know that if you roast me within an inch of my life, that you are actually insulting them instead. Plus, nothing you see on the internet is bad or ever misleading. I would probably recommend that you use a grill if you have one, but I did not, so I had to get a little creative. As you can see here, this method actually proved to be pretty effective. The only downside is you need to have decent ventilation. Luckily, I have a large window right next to my stove. As you continue to char the outside skin of the pepper, it'll begin to soften up very quickly. We want it tender enough to be very manageable, but not to the point where it'll fall apart on us. Once it's at a nice level, we will transfer it to a pan with a lid so that the steam can help us remove the skin later on. Just repeat the same process with as many peppers as you want to roast and enjoy the awesome aroma that is filling the room, almost like a spicy campfire. It was really relaxing. The weather was surprisingly really nice for early March, so the vibes were going bananas. And I was having a great time cooking, especially with the window open, listening to the breeze and listening to the birds. To fry these peppers, we're going to make an egg batter, separating the egg yolks from the egg whites and then blending them together. Without a doubt, this will be the most challenging part. I've tried this before, I'm not the best at it, so wish me luck and let's give it a shot. So to begin the challenge, we are going to need to separate our egg yolks carefully from our egg whites. Unless this is something you have practiced a good bit, I recommend taking your sweet ass time. If you don't, you'll probably end up with eggshell fragments chilling in your mixture, and nobody wants to dig those out. As this sped up montage suggests, continue going to town your eggs until they are all separated like my parents did when I was in 2nd grade. So here comes the most fun part of the entire recipe, creating our batter. Using a hand mixer, I'm going to whisk the eggs vigorously until they begin to form hard peaks and get pretty creamy, almost like whipped cream. The first time I ever attempted this feat, I didn't whisk the egg whites nearly long enough because I was a coward. I was afraid. I would whisk and ruin the mixture, but little did I know I was ruining it regardless, so today we're going to nail it. It's looking amazing, so now we can move on to whisking our egg yolks. You don't have to get too crazy with it, just mix it a little bit. We will then fold our egg yolks into our egg whites a little by little until we get a nice smooth batter that we can fry up nicely. At this point in the cooking process, I was actually feeling some exhaustion. The amount of effort that goes into cooking is greatly underappreciated in my less than professional opinion, or maybe I'm just weak or something. This part was actually a good bit of fun after some reflection. I was nervous the entire time, but we pulled through with an end product that we can be proud of. So with our batter ready to fight the good fight, our chilies over here looking one step away from death. But much like Jennifer Coolidge did with her career being on the show The White Lotus, we're going to revive them, scraping off all the burnt flesh off their bones. There really is no art to the scrape. I just use a butter knife with a rough edge to do the trick. If you wanted to risk some second-degree burns, you could just use your hands. The skin should just fall right off, and I'm talking about the peppers, since you gave them a good steam bath while you prepared your batter. Speaking of batter, an idea for a Bob's Burgers episode occurred to me the other day while I was showering. Picture this: a community softball game with the majority of the reoccurring characters on different teams. Bob versus Jimmy, Mr. Fish Shooter versus Felix, Teddy versus Mort. You get the gist. I think that would make for some great overall banter throughout the episode. Unfortunately, it might be a good while before we see Jimmy's character again though, after his voice actor was arrested IRL and hasn't been seen since season 11. After we rinse out the seeds and the peppers, we can start prepping our cheese for our filling. You could use pre-grated cheese if that is what your heart desires, but that usually means less options, plus it's kind of fun grating cheese. Not incredibly fun by any means, but definitely something to pass the time. Filling the peppers with the cheese will probably prove to be somewhat tedious, as they will be flimsy at this point. Luckily, they really don't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure they are filled to the brim, because why not? More cheese the better, right? After all, we're going to be frying them anyways, so as long as you're able to close the pepper around the cheese, for the most part you're going to be in the clear, as piping hot oil can solidify a crust in seconds, preserving the cheesy goodness inside. Go ahead and give your batter some additional stirs to fluff it up before we begin our coating process. Next part is very important, so take your time. It's going to get messy, but you're going to need to dunk your pepper in the batter while holding its shape with your hands. The last thing we want is for the pepper to open up and all the cheese to fall out. Frying an empty pepper carcass would just be downright shameful and frankly unbecoming. Your hands will feel gross, yes, however, sinks exist and are begging for you to use them. Get those bad boys into some piping hot oil and let the frying magic commence. It should only take around 20 to 30 seconds most likely. I hope you all enjoy the sounds of food frying as much as I do, because it's going to get bubbly. It's okay if the peppers don't come out looking exactly the way you want them to, as they are just going on a burger. The most important part is that they come out crunchy with the cheese melted inside. Perfect. Next, we can begin prepping our beef patty by removing it from its packaging in a somewhat ASMR way. We will then need to size it up before forming a perfect meatball with our hands. Once the meat is ready, we can start seasoning it like our life depends on it. I usually only use salt and pepper, however, we're getting a little bit more flavorful today with a combination of cumin and smoked paprika as well. This combination was a game changer, and smoked paprika is one of the best spices anyone can have in their kitchen overall. Extremely versatile and just enhances so many dishes. Make sure to roll the meat around to sufficiently coat the entire surface of the patty. Once you believe you've achieved your goal, it's time to get it onto a grill or a high heat pan. All the prep work is done, so sit back, relax, and take in the soothing vibes of watching a patty cook. It is now time to build our burger, starting with the bottom bun, followed by a good bit of our Boston lettuce, then one of our fried peppers. The juicy patty makes his appearance, and then finally our top bun. We have outdone ourselves. This looks amazing. I'm so happy with the way these peppers turned out. We fried them up good. I'm excited to eat this. It's such a great feeling when you think something's going to be challenging and you absolutely nail it, and I think that I have, so let's go ahead and try a bite. Whoa. Holy mackerel, that is amazing. Without a doubt, this is one of the most unique burgers we've made so far. And just the unique flavor from the Poblano pepper, it just lights your taste buds up. The cheese mellows everything out, but then the saltiness and the cumin from the burger, and the crunchiness from the leaves, and the softness from the bread, oh, it's so good. In fact, I'm going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It may be our best rated one yet. I love it. It's absolutely incredible. You guys should go out, make this yourselves. If you like this episode, subscribe for more Bob's Burgers videos coming soon. I can't wait to get into more ludicrous and crazy recipes from the book. I'm going to chow down on this, and I'll see you next video. Peace.